Hello, good morning, welcome to rural France. I'm going for a walk. It's a lovely day. Hold on, let's just turn the camera around because I'm sure you've had enough of looking at my ugly mug. And we'll try and get that sequoia tree in the background in shot. I haven't got the right lens on this thing, but I'm sure you can see how amazing it is. Look at it. Fantastic. Right, we're going for a walk. I'm sure many of you will be saying, hold on a minute, I didn't sign up for a bloody walking channel. I want my aviation. Well, as unlikely as this may seem, there's a connection between aviation and this part of rural France. A very surprising one for me. Really quite exciting. So I've made a discovery, which I guess is a bit of a stretch to call it a discovery, but on my recent quest to find out more about what my wife's granddad did during the war, as you do. So yesterday evening I was talking to my father-in-law about what his dad, about where his dad was based during his time in captivity as a prisoner of war. And for the last couple of years, I've had a suspicion that he had something to do with this particular aeroplane. Hold on a minute. Let's just turn the camera around, see if we can see the chateau. I'm just walking up to turn it around a bit. You can just about make out that chateau through the trees. You can see the kind of sequoia tree now. Wow, look at that. It's beautiful. Amazing. Massive. The trunk's huge. Must be at least 500 years old. Right. So where were we? Oh yeah. So yeah, he's had something to do with this particular aeroplane. And the aeroplane I'm talking about is the Focke-Wulf Fw-190, which is amazing to me. Amazing. Really exciting. So one evening, while I was staying in the house of my parents-in-law, I mean this is a couple of years ago now, I noticed there was a wooden model aeroplane on the bookshelf, and I kind of assumed for years that it was just an ornament. You know, the kind of ornament that you could buy in the 1990s, kind of made of dark wood, made somewhere in the Far East. But it turns out on closer inspection, there were far too many details in this model aeroplane for it to be just a decorative ornament for a house, for it just to be kind of decor. And as I looked a bit closer, I realised I could recognise so much of the detail in this model aeroplane that the person that made it must have had some sort of knowledge of this particular aircraft. You can even tell, you can almost tell which variant of the FW-190 it is, which is crazy really, isn't it? It's unbelievable. I mean, bear in mind, this guy, my wife's granddad, made this model aeroplane in captivity as a prisoner of war, basically, but also it seems to be that he was on the production line in the assembly plant. So I guess at this point, I realised that my wife's granddad may have been involved in making this aircraft because he must have had some sort of intimate knowledge of the aircraft itself. Hold on, let's have a look at this. So this is almost a driveway up to that chateau we've just passed. And you can see in the distance, maybe, sequoia tree. I haven't got a zoom on this thing, so I can't really zoom in to show you that, but I'll hopefully be able to make it out. We'll just walk a bit further up here. So really, I hadn't investigated much more until recently. Hold on, look at these. Because I've set up this channel, Jumbo Aviation. I set it up in September, and I feel it merits a video and some sort of explanation now that I know a bit more about it. So because of this new information about where he was based, it really confirms that he's actually at the Focke-Wulf assembly plant for about 5 years. Until the Germans dissolved the camp in 1945 and the POWs will march west. And I think we'll be marching, which way are we going to be marching? Not quite sure. We're going to be marching this way, along the path back to the farmhouse and hang a right into the woods here. So winding back a bit, I've known my wife for over 30 years. She's French. And in that time, I'd always been kind of led to believe that her granddad was a farmer and he'd had lived a very uneventful life here in very rural France, farming. I think, I can walk through here. Yeah. So just that. No, it doesn't improve it much, does it? So, well, it turns out that nothing could be further from the truth. So let's share with you what I know so far. So back in 1939, right, Mark was a farmer. He was called up in November 1939 and he fought in the Battle of France in 1940. And he was wounded. He ended up in hospital for some time, recovering from his wounds. And he became a POW of the Germans, prisoner of war. And after he'd recovered from his wounds, he was sent to Germany. Or in fact, this was confirmed yesterday, that it was East Prussia, to be more precise, near a place called Marienburg at the time. It's now called Malbork in Poland. And there he became a forced labourer for the Germans, basically. Anyway, he had a choice to either work or to die. And luckily for me, he chose to work. Because if he hadn't, I never would have met my wife, and we wouldn't have had kids. Anyway, all this, after a bit of research in the past few days, this was at Stalag XXB, or Stalag XXB in old Roman numeral money. One of the Focke-Wulf's assembly plants was based at this Stalag XXB during World War II. Apparently it produced approximately half of all the FW190s. So it was pretty, the whole kind of industrial zone where Stalag 20B was based was pretty gigantic. We're talking about, I think these days it's quite close to Gdansk. I'm not sure if Danzig was to the north, but there were lots of kind of sub-assembly or sub-plants or sub-assembly plants or sub-camps in that kind of, very kind of industrial zone, including things like farms, and it was it seems to have been quite a gigantic area. I need to really kind of study the maps more and have a look at some aerial photography of the place and try and work out what I can understand from that. But the Germans apparently dissolved the camp, in inverted commas, in January 1945, and then marched these POWs, or these forced labourers, west, back towards Berlin, away from the Russians who were fast approaching from the east. And at this stage, I'm guessing that he was one of the POWs that was marched back into Germany and finally made his way back to his home in France. That's certainly part of the story that I've got to do some more research about, because apparently he kept a diary, so I need to look into that. It'd be great if I could somehow copy it or scan it or photograph it and then transcribe it. So that's pretty much what I know so far. Right, so I've tried to shoot this part of the video before, and the sound quality was pretty terrible, so I've tried to re-record it. Hopefully this will be a bit better. When I get back to the house, I'll have a look at it and review it. Fingers crossed. This is the first time that I've really spoken using a microphone, using a microphone and this gimbal. So hopefully it's got the noise cancellation on and the sound quality is usable this time. Anyway, I need to practice a lot more. I haven't really been working from any kind of script so far. I've been writing notes because it's easy to maybe kind of keep your thread, or not to lose your thread while you're talking and walking and doing stuff. So I haven't really done a lot of editing either. So I'm not exactly trying to get these things in one take, but I'm roughly editing kind of chunks of video together. To create the video so far, and once I get a bit better at editing the videos, I'll hopefully improve the quality of the videos. I have consumed quite a lot of YouTube over the past few years myself, so I know how annoying it is to have terrible audio. So that's certainly something that I really need to improve in these videos, is the audio. I mean, one thing that I also need to do is I need to try and find out how to shoot, or at least get some kind of rig to be able to shoot directly down onto onto boxes and models of boxes and what have you. So I'm going to have to put this down as B-roll. Anyway, please bear with me. And like and subscribe if you can. Look at that sequoia. It's funny, a sequoia tree isn't really something that you associate with France. At least it's certainly not the kind of tree I associate with France. Let's go around this way so and get away from the glare of the sun in the background where it's silhouetted, but you can kind of see the shape of this thing. It's absolutely beautiful tree, really nice. And look at there's a dead one to the right hand side of it. Must be 500 years old, centuries old, mustn't it? I mean, I'm guessing the diameter of that thing is what, 3 meters or something like that, 2 or 3 meters. I mean, not as big as the ones that you see in American national parks, but still huge compared to the other trees that you've got round here, which tend to be kind of oaks and all kinds of other kinds of trees that I'm unable to identify. Walking backwards, trying not to fall over. Look at it. I want to get it all in shot. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's walk this way. Walk back to the house now.